Hey, what's up? In today's video, we're going to talk about how to get started in real estate investing. A lot of people want to know what's the best lead source to pull in order to find deals in real estate. So we're going to talk about that in full detail. I'm going to provide you with 3 simple segments that you want to keep in mind when you're pulling your leads. And in addition to that, I'm going to show you exactly how to get them coming up. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Jamel Gibbs, your family-oriented entrepreneur. On this channel, what we do is we teach real estate investors and entrepreneurs how to create time and freedom through proven real estate investment strategies. So if you're brand new to this channel, feel free to subscribe by clicking that subscribe button right below this video. Also, share this video with your family and friends who's looking to get started in real estate. And leave a comment. Don't be shy on this channel. We want to start a conversation so I can help you further in your real estate investing business. So with that being said, what I want to do today is talk about the 3 key segments that you want to keep in mind when you're pulling leads in order to find real estate deals. Again, a lot of brand new real estate investors, they'll ask, hey, what lead sources are you pulling in order to find deals? So I want to cut out all of the confusion when it comes to finding the right deals, segmenting the list the right way. I want to cut out all of that confusion for you so that you can understand exactly what to do and start focusing your attention on what needs to be focused on, which is actually finding deals in today's market. All right, now before we jump into the 3 key segments, there's a couple of things that I want you to keep in mind. There's 2 types of lead sources that you focus on when you're generating leads as a real estate investor. You have what's called broad marketing or broad leads, and then you also have narrow marketing or narrow leads. Now, the difference between broad marketing and narrow marketing is when you're going broad, you're attacking a wider range of leads. When you're going narrow, you're segmenting more so than you are going wide. Right? So when you're going narrow, you're literally segmenting the list down to focus on one or a few types of people in order to contact, right? So an example of broad marketing would be bandit signs. If you ever seen the signs on the side of the road, the We Buy Houses signs, those are called bandit signs if you're brand new in the real estate business. Another form of broad marketing will be billboards or newspaper ads or Craigslist ads, right? Those are all broad ways of marketing. Television, TV, things like that are broad marketing for your real estate investment business. So anything that doesn't necessarily target a specific type of person is considered to be broad marketing, right? Or a broad lead source. When you go narrow, which is the better way to get started in real estate, then you're more direct with who you're approaching. So for example, you can do postcards to a specific type of person. You can do text messaging to a specific type of person. You can literally narrow your leads down to target and go directly to that person in order to get them to contact you. Okay, direct response marketing is one of the easiest and best ways to be able to do this. So when you're going narrow, you're literally targeting a specific type of person using a certain modality. Again, we talked about direct mail. We talked about text messaging. We talked about, maybe even cold calling a lead in order to get the phone ringing, but you're targeting a specific type of person. So an example of how this would actually work is this. When you're focusing on going narrow first, you might be focusing on, let's say, tax lien properties or divorce properties, probates. You might focus on code violations. You might focus on vacant property leads, right? Those are all narrow lead sources that you can target. And there's obviously a lot more lead sources out there. I'm going to share what lead sources I believe you should start with in just a couple of minutes. Just bear with me. But then when you decide to go broad, you might focus on absentees. Why? Because it takes longer to build a relationship with an absentee owner than it does a regular, let's say, a vacant property owner. The difference between an absentee owner and a vacant property owner is a vacant property is not generating any income. An absentee owner doesn't wake up in the morning saying, hey, I want to sell my property today, because they may have a tenant in the property. The property can be generating some income. So it may take longer to build that relationship. You might have to follow up with the absentee owner more so than you would a vacant property owner or someone that has a tax lien or they're in pre-foreclosure or something like that, right? Those are more narrow lead sources than the for sale by owner, which is more broad. So again, you got two types of leads. You got the broad leads, which are basically the absentee owners, and it can be the for sale by owners and the everyday person who's looking to sell their property. And then you got the narrow leads, which are more in distress, right? They're people who are facing a certain situation, a vacant property not bringing in income, tax lien property, maybe they're backed up on their taxes, code violations, maybe the property needs some work. Those are more distressed type of leads, more narrow type of leads that you can target immediately. If you're just getting started as a real estate investor, focus on going narrow first and then broaden out as you go on. Widen out the leads as time goes on. So you tap out all of your lead sources, then you add another lead source, which is a little more broad than the last lead source. So let's jump into what you should keep in mind, the three key segments that you need to keep in mind when you're targeting these leads. And then what I'm going to do is share with you exactly how to get the leads toward the ending of this particular video. So let's jump into this. All right, so the first key segment that you want to keep in mind when you're generating leads as a real estate investor. If you're brand new, definitely take notes right now. Okay, this is super important because if you do exactly what I'm telling you, you're going to be targeting the right people. And when you target the right people and you put yourself in front of those people, if you talk to enough of them and you make enough offers, that's how you're going to make money in real estate. That's how you get started in real estate investing, right? So the first key segment that I want you to focus on is when you're pulling leads, focus on vacant property owners. Now, I've kind of mentioned why I want you to focus on vacant property owners just a couple of minutes ago, but here's something to keep in mind. If you look at all of the properties in the United States right now, on average, 9.7 to 10% of those properties are vacant properties. There's a lot of vacant properties available at your disposal. And these are off-market deals. If you put yourself in front of that 9.7 to 10% of the vacant properties that are available, you put yourself in front of those owners and you do that enough times, this is an owner who's facing some type of distress, right? Not all of them are in distress. Some of them may be, rehabbers who's just rehabbing a house. But we're talking about a specific type of seller. And I'm going to continue to provide you with additional information on how to target the right type of person. But if these properties are vacant, they're not generating income. There's about 10%, let's just round it up to 10% of the properties in the United States are all vacant properties. And if you put yourself in front of them, you increase your chances of finding deals a lot quicker. So focus on vacant properties. Vacant property owners are not generating income in their properties right now. So they may be on the verge of selling, or they may be on the verge of being in some type of trouble, some type of distress on that particular property. And again, as real estate investors, we're problem solvers. So what we want to do is allow ourselves to be in a position to help that particular seller get out of that situation, solve their problem so that we can in turn make a profit as well. So focus on vacant properties. That's segment number one when you're pulling your lead source. Now you can go to any type of lead source you like, but again, I'm going to recommend what I use later on in this video. The second segment that you want to focus on are property owners that have owned the property for a period of time. My preference is 10 years or more. Now, why do I want to focus on property owners that have owned the property for at least 10 years or more? Well, that tells me that this property owner not only owned the property for a while, which means that they're not rehabbing the house. Remember, I talked about the portion of vacant properties that maybe being rehabbed by an investor at this particular time, part of that 10%. No, we're eliminating them right out the box, right? So if we focus on property owners that have owned the property for at least 10 years, number one, we know that if the property is vacant, they're under some type of distress. They're probably still making payments if the property is not paid for. And in addition to that, we also know that they have some equity in the property. So if they own the property for 10 years, chances are there's enough equity in that property in order for us to be able to negotiate a deal that can be a win-win situation for both you and the seller. So we have, number one, focus on vacant properties. That's segment number one when you're pulling your list. Segment number two is to focus on the property owners who have owned the property for a period of time, preferably 10 years or more. So what's segment number three? Segment number three will allow you to tell if a property will need some work or not, or at least increase the chances of a property needing some work. And that's focusing on properties that are 30 years old or more, right? So, for example, if we're in 2022 right now, if you focus on properties that were built from 1992 or before, you're going back 30 years. Now, the chances of a property needing some work after it was built 30 years ago drastically increases versus a property that was built 5 years ago. Those are still considered to be newer homes. So the older you go on a property, if you go 40 years, that's even better, right? But 30 years or older is my sweet spot that I personally like to target in order to find enough leads to be able to pull the right type of leads to be able to contact those sellers and create deals. Number one, focus on vacant property owners. Number two, focus on property owners that have a portion of equity in their properties. And usually you can tell if they have a portion of equity by their ownership on the property. How many years did they own the property? Preferably 10 years or more. And number three, you also want to focus on properties that were built 30 years or older, because at the end of the day, the chances of those properties needing some work drastically increases. So you're literally looking for distressed properties, physically distressed or financially distressed, depending on the seller's situation. You're looking for property owners that have some equity, and you're looking for vacant property. So the financial distress comes from the vacant property owners, right? Because they're not generating income on the property. The physical distress comes from the amount of time that the property has been sitting. So how long ago was the property built? And then the equity part, the deal part comes from the amount of time that the owner owned the property. So if you focus on these three segments, this is how you can literally start your real estate investing business, focusing on the right person. Then over time, you can open it up to other sources of leads as well. Again, you don't necessarily have to do vacants. You can do tax liens, you can do pre-foreclosure, you can do all of these other lead sources that are available to you. But for me, vacant property owners is kind of like an umbrella of all of those other lead sources that are available to you as well. You might find tax lien properties that are under a vacant property owner's situation. You might find code violated properties under the vacant property lead source. You might find, pre-foreclosures and so on and so forth under that one lead source. So to me, vacant property owners is the best way for a brand new real estate investor to start generating leads. Obviously, you pull the list, you invest some money or some time into contacting the leads, and then you take it from there. So how do you go out and you find these leads? How can you pull these lists? Well, to keep it really simple, I'm going to provide some links in the description box of this video for you. But check out my real estate investor software. It's called Investor Deal Pro, and you can check that out at investordealpro.com. And once you sign up, it's a small monthly investment. You'll be able to generate all of these leads that we discussed in this video at a click of a button. Go ahead, check out investordealpro.com. I'll also provide some other lead sources for you so that you can look into those. And at the end of the day, it's all about investing into yourself. Obviously, sometimes it does take money to make money, even in real estate, right? You invest a little bit into yourself to be able to get yourself in front of the right leads so that you can make a whole lot of money in this real estate investing business. So if you found this video helpful, be sure to check out this video that just popped up. A lot of people are facing the issue of low inventory on the market right now. So check out that video that just popped up on the screen, and we'll go into full detail on that. Hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to like it, subscribe, click the notification bell. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.